This is an onomy podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the pod. Happy New Year. We're in 2023. We did it. We did another year. I hope you've been enjoying the pod. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. If you can give us a rating, it really helps as we're growing this new audience and platform. Growing up with Devon on all the socials. And hi, this one's going to be a solo episode. I have no one in the studio with me today, so I'm going to talk to you babies. I wanted to come on and kind of just share some thoughts around a turning year, you know, the new year. I really enjoy New Year's. I really like this kind of, this turning of a page, this demarcation point, you know, between what came before and what's coming next. I really enjoy the slowdown of the holidays and winter, and I use that time as best I can. Granted, some of that time is often spent just being a total slug and drinking and eating with my family and just being a waste of life. But that shit feels good, and you know what I'm talking about. But I also use that time, that in-between time, and the first few weeks of the new year to sit with myself, to reflect, to journal, to meditate, and really to look at what happened last year, you know? What worked, what didn't? Where was I at New Year's last year? What did I want to happen? How did that go, right? Like, it's a time to look back on your last year. What worked, what didn't? How am I feeling about everything? Where am I at now? And then look forward into the year ahead and go kind of align yourself to what you want. Like, what am I aiming at? What changes do I want to make? What are my goals this year? What are just some fun things I want to, you know, put on a to-do list this year? I think it's a really important time that you align yourself, because if you don't take that time, man, life has so much noise. There's so much information we're constantly seeing. There's so much in our own head, so much anxiety. If you don't take that time to actually like organize what you want and what you're aiming at and what you're letting go of and the changes you want to make, like, you're just missing an opportunity. And that's why New Year's is the best opportunity for it, because most of our lives slow down around New Year's. Everything just gets slower around the holidays, and it's good. So use that time. I have. As I enter this new year, I'm feeling very hopeful and very excited about things I have going on in my life, including this podcast. Having something I can put my energy into, having something that like makes me want to be better and makes me want to be more clear and makes me want to be healthier, right? It's good to have these things, and I'm feeling like I have them right now. I have 2 podcasts I'm launching. I have a movie coming up that I'm going to shoot, and I'm just hopeful about this year. And that's where I'm at. I understand not everyone is. Some people are entering this year without an important loved one in their life, or maybe maybe you've lost an important job, or you're going through a major transition, or you've moved. I get what that's like. And this moment of reflection is still important, even if you feel like you can barely get out of bed. Last year, I'll tell you, at New Year's, I was a broken Devon. Last New Year's, I was more disintegrated than I've ever been. My life just felt broken, really. Like, I couldn't put the pieces together. Everything was scattered. So much had changed and failed and fallen. I was going through a particular trauma at the time that I've talked about a little bit. And I knew at New Year's, like, whoa, I am starting off this year lower and more broken than I've ever been. And I knew, okay, this upcoming year, I don't really know how, but I'm going to have to put the pieces back together. And I knew from where I was at, you can't rush that shit with just some like positive affirmations and a nice resolution to fucking eat more salads. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't rush healing your trauma or maybe an identity crisis or heartbreak, you can't rush that with some fucking bullshit. Oh, I'm gonna be grateful for something every day. Like, it's not that simple. And I knew it at the time. Like, this is gonna be a weird, non-linear process getting back to my own wholeness, like getting back to myself. And through some of my own action and some of just like the grace of life and my own intention, that happened last year. I put the pieces back together. It took me being gentle with myself. It took me going to therapy. It took me building some more positive habits like exercise and meditation. Like, sometimes you can start to put your life back together with one foundational healthy practice. Sometimes if you just show up to one supportive thing for yourself consistently enough, not every day, not perfect. Don't set a goal of perfection. Just be like, let me do this more often than not. Sometimes that's enough foundational support in your own self to start to put the pieces back together. Now, where I was at last year, it took more than that. It took the whole year. It took me being gentle with myself. There were a lot of days where I did not get out of bed. There were a lot of days where I just had to cry a lot. There were a lot of days where I was not doing good habits. I was surviving my pain with vices, with binging TV and smoking weed and just numbing out. That was part of it. But when I had the energy and capacity to do so, I was trying to do things that would shift that place. Because, man, you can stay in that cycle for a long time. That depression, that broken, oh, I'm depressed and broken, so let me do something just to survive the day. And then you wake up the next day and you do the same thing. You can really stay stuck for a while, but I get it. That's also part of the putting yourself back together. But then when you have a little jolt of energy, trying to do something that's, good for you, and you know what they are. I had the fortune of getting to travel a lot last year. That helped me put the pieces back together. Spending a lot of time with really good, important people in my life, that helped. Getting things to work on, like this podcast, like that started to give me meaning again and a direction. And so for any of you going through that now at the beginning of this year, I just want to say your whole life can change in a year. You just got to have a little bit of belief and a little bit of intention and a little bit of want. Like, let yourself know, okay, I may not be there now, but in 6 months' time, where can I get? And start just trying to messily move yourself in that direction. I am starting in a different place this year, and it feels so good. Holy shit, does it feel good to not be broken at the start of the year and actually feel some hope and inspiration that I can make some shit happen this year. And an important part of that is the best thing you can do for your life, I think, is actualize your life. Actualize your wants and desires. Organize the messes in your life. Clean up your life. There's so much noise right now. There are so many dramas, conflicts, issues, so much information coming at us from all social media and news. And there is a lot in there that's so important to care about and stay involved in, but there's so much in that is so far out of your ability to influence. There are so many heartbreaking issues in the world that I care about, but they are out of my day-to-day ability to influence. So the best thing I can do is actualize my own life, and then from where my life actually hits and connects, do the most positive and the best that I can from there, from my actual circle of influence. And I just invite all of you to cut things out of your life and out of your care. Like we have only so much capacity to care emotionally. You can't hold it all. It's impossible. So just make sure you're putting your emotions into things that actually benefit your life and that you can actually create some influence in, that you can actually affect. Because I think a lot of us can get caught up in very meaningful issues, but that we don't actually touch. It breaks my heart some of the time. It's like, God, I care so much that problem gets fixed, but I can't do anything about that. But I can do things in my life to make it better and better for those around me and better for those people that I actually interact with. So that's a good thing to look at as you start this year. I'm not a big believer in resolutions. Like I said, I more just look at what's not working in my life. Like I said, last year, I survived a lot of shit and healed a lot of shit. But in that, there's some habits that have carried over that were survival habits. And at a certain point, you're not surviving that thing anymore. At a certain point, those habits no longer serve you or me. And so that's really what I've been looking at this year is like, okay, I did some great work last year. I made some great progress. I do want to shift some of these habits that helped me survive a very difficult time. But now I'm ready to kind of like let that shit go. And now what do I want my life to look like? And what do I want my habits and what do I want my day-to-day to look like now that I'm not so actively surviving, just getting through the day with this pain, right? So yeah, my invitation to you as we enter this year is do that. Ask yourself, what do you want? What are you aiming at this year? What's in your ability to control? What's in your ability to influence? What changes do you want to make? What do you want to be more healthy with? What do you want to forgive yourself for being less healthy with? You know, it's all a balance. And I'm wishing you all well. I really am rooting for all of you to make this transition into your adulthood, into your meaningful life. Really rooting for all of you to make it without all the baggage that comes from the transitions and the identity crises and the heartbreak and the trauma and the survival. I'm really pulling for you to make it through in your own self, to live a life that means something to you, to have reciprocal, decent people in your life. You know, it takes a long time to build a good life. You got to really look at it from the natural world. It's really easy to cut down a tree. It takes no time at all. Destruction takes no time at all. But building something that actually has roots and foundation, you can't shortcut it. It takes time. You have to follow the pace of life. And so that starts today. That starts now. Every little thing you can do to nurture that life is beneficial. But you have to have that patience and that foresight that if you want to build a big, beautiful redwood tree of your life, that might take some years. So, you know, be responsible with your choices. Be clear about who you're giving your time to in your life, who you're giving your energy to, who you're saying yes to. Be clear that are these people I want to build a good life with? Are these people who I feel energized with, right? Are these people who will be a part of what I want life to look like and not a hindrance to it? Yeah. It's a long and winding road, my friends. And I really wish you well and wish you a happy and prosperous new year. Thank you for being a part of my new year and my new podcasting journey. Makes me a little nervous sometimes speaking this much to a wide audience. You know, sometimes the internet scares me, but you all have been good to me so far and I appreciate it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being here for yourself. You're gonna make it through all of it. We all are. And then it'll end for all of us. Boo-hoo. Surprise, the ending is the same for everybody. So also learn to laugh. Okay, I love you. Be well.
Thanks for listening to That Onomy podcast. Onomy is a creator-led educational platform that teaches you the things you wished you learned in school so you can thrive in adulthood. Onomy lessons are completely free and they're taught by some of your favorite creators from around the internet. Head to onomy.co to start learning about things like budgeting, investing, taxes, how to thrive in your relationships, how to find your dream job, and so much more. That's onomy.co, onomy.co. See you there.